Yes, most damper motors require a disconnect. This requirement stems from the typical control setup of damper motors, which involves a low voltage circuit for control and a high voltage circuit for powering the motor itself. To ensure safety during any maintenance or repair work, it is essential to disconnect the high voltage circuit before commencing any work on the damper motor. The schematic that you described, featuring 2 switches and color-coded wires like short and long red and yellow wires, very likely illustrates a disconnect switch designed to isolate the damper motor from the high voltage power source. The 2 switches serve the purpose of opening and closing the circuit, while the wires facilitate the connection of the motor to the power circuit. Regarding electrical work regulations, specifically in California, all electrical work must be performed by a licensed electrician. This encompasses the installation, maintenance, and repair of damper motors. If someone is not a licensed electrician, they should refrain from attempting to work on damper motors. If work is needed on a damper motor, it is highly recommended to seek the expertise of a licensed electrician. A qualified electrician possesses the knowledge and skills to safely disconnect the damper motor from the high voltage circuit and carry out the required repairs or maintenance in compliance with safety standards and regulations. When considering the installation or maintenance of electrical equipment like damper motors, several factors need careful consideration. Firstly, adherence to the National Electrical Code, commonly known as the NEC, is crucial. The NEC provides comprehensive standards for electrical installations to ensure safety and proper functioning. Secondly, local electrical codes and regulations must be followed, as they may have specific requirements that go beyond the NEC. Thirdly, proper grounding is essential for electrical safety. Grounding provides a path for fault current to flow back to the source, minimizing the risk of electric shock and equipment damage. Fourthly, overcurrent protection devices, such as circuit breakers and fuses, are crucial to protect electrical circuits from excessive current, which can lead to overheating and fire hazards. Fifthly, appropriate wiring methods should be employed based on the specific application and environmental conditions. This includes selecting the correct wire size, insulation type, and conduit or cable management system. Sixthly, proper labeling and identification of electrical components and circuits are important for easy identification and maintenance. Seventhly, regular inspection and maintenance of electrical equipment should be conducted to identify and address any potential problems before they escalate. Eighthly, only qualified personnel should perform electrical work to ensure that it is done safely and in accordance with applicable codes and regulations. Ninthly, proper lockout and tagout procedures should be followed during maintenance or repair work to prevent accidental energization of equipment. Tenthly, the use of personal protective equipment, such as gloves, safety glasses, and insulated tools, is crucial to minimize the risk of electrical shock and other injuries. When evaluating the necessity of a disconnect for a damper motor, consider the following points. 1. Safety requirements mandate a disconnect to isolate the motor during maintenance. 2. Local and national electrical codes may specifically require a disconnect. 3. The horsepower and voltage of the motor influence disconnect requirements. 4. The accessibility of the motor for maintenance determines if a disconnect is practical. 5. Risk assessment should identify potential hazards and justify the need for a disconnect. 6. Specific industry standards might dictate disconnect requirements. 7. Insurance requirements sometimes necessitate disconnects for safety. 8. Consider the frequency of maintenance when deciding if a disconnect is needed. 9. The complexity of the control system can influence the necessity of a disconnect. 10. Cost-benefit analysis should weigh the cost of the disconnect against the safety benefits. A disconnect ensures safe isolation of the damper motor from the electrical supply during maintenance and repairs. Disconnects can be fused or non-fused depending on the circuit's protection needs. Fused disconnects incorporate fuses for overcurrent protection, while non-fused disconnects only provide a means of isolating the circuit. The choice between fused and non-fused disconnects depends on the specific application and the level of protection required. Motor horsepower dictates the sizing of the disconnect switch. Consult the NEC, specifically Article 430, for proper sizing based on motor full load amperage. The disconnect must have an ampere rating not less than 115% of the motor's full load current rating. This ensures the disconnect can handle the motor's starting and running current without overheating or failing. Voltage ratings of the disconnect switch must match or exceed the motor's voltage rating. Using an undersized disconnect can lead to premature failure and pose a safety hazard. Consider the available fault current at the disconnect location. The disconnect switch must have a short circuit current rating, SCCR, sufficient to withstand the available fault current. An insufficient SCCR can result in the disconnect switch failing catastrophically under fault conditions. Enclosure types for disconnect switches should be selected based on the environment. NEMA 1 enclosures are suitable for indoor use, while NEMA 3R enclosures are suitable for outdoor use. NEMA 4 and 4X enclosures provide protection against water and corrosion for harsh environments. Disconnect switches should be readily accessible. The NEC requires disconnects to be installed at a readily accessible location. This allows personnel to quickly and safely disconnect power to the motor in case of an emergency or during maintenance. Proper labeling of the disconnect switch is essential. The disconnect should be clearly labeled to indicate the equipment it serves. This helps prevent accidental disconnection of the wrong equipment. Lockout/tagout procedures must be followed when working on or near electrical equipment. Lockout/tagout procedures ensure that the disconnect switch is locked in the OFF position and tagged to prevent accidental energization. Regular inspection and maintenance of disconnect switches are necessary. Disconnects should be inspected regularly for signs of damage or wear. Moving parts should be lubricated, and connections should be tightened as needed. When interpreting electrical schematics, understanding the symbols and conventions is crucial. Electrical schematics use standardized symbols to represent various components, such as switches, motors, and fuses. Familiarity with these symbols is essential for understanding the circuit's operation. Pay attention to wire colors and their designations. Wire colors are often used to identify the function of a wire, such as power, neutral, or ground. Following the wire colors in the schematic can help trace the circuit's path. Understand the different types of switches and their functions. Switches can be single pole, single throw, SPSD, single pole, double throw, SPDT, double pole, single throw, DPSD, or double pole, double throw, DPDT. Each type of switch has a different function and is used in different applications. Identify the control circuit and the power circuit. The control circuit typically operates at a lower voltage and controls the operation of the power circuit. The power circuit supplies the high voltage power to the motor. Trace the circuit path from the power source to the motor. This will help understand how the motor is powered and controlled. Look for any safety devices such as fuses or circuit breakers. Safety devices protect the circuit from overcurrent and prevent damage to the equipment. Pay attention to the grounding system. The grounding system provides a path for fault current to flow back to the source, minimizing the risk of electric shock. Understand the function of each component in the circuit. This will help understand the overall operation of the circuit. Consider the sequence of operations. The schematic may show the sequence in which the different components operate. Analyze the schematic for potential problems or hazards. This can help identify potential safety issues or design flaws. Consult with a qualified electrician if unsure about any aspect of the schematic. A qualified electrician can provide valuable insights and ensure the electrical system is safe and reliable. NEC Article 430 covers motors, motor circuits, and motor controllers. It provides detailed requirements for the installation and protection of motors. NEC Article 430.52 provides requirements for motor overcurrent protection. The overcurrent protection device must be sized to protect the motor from overload and short circuits. NEC Article 430.110 provides requirements for motor disconnecting means. The disconnecting means must be readily accessible and capable of disconnecting the motor from all sources of power. NEC Article 430.125 provides requirements for motor control circuits. The control circuit must be protected from overcurrents and short circuits. Understanding electrical codes and regulations is essential for safe and compliant electrical installations. Stay up to date on the latest changes to the NEC and local electrical codes. Attend training courses and seminars to enhance knowledge of electrical codes and regulation. Consult with a qualified electrical inspector or engineer if questions about electrical codes or regulations arise. Always prioritize safety when working with electrical equipment. Follow safe work practices and use appropriate personal protective equipment. Never work on energized electrical equipment unless specifically trained and authorized to do so. Lockout/tagout procedures should be followed whenever working on or near electrical equipment. If unsure about any aspect of electrical work, consult with a qualified electrician. In addition to the specific requirements mentioned, consider these factors when evaluating disconnects for damper motors. Firstly, the type of motor being used influences disconnect requirements. Secondly, the specific application of the damper motor can affect the need for a disconnect. Thirdly, the location of the motor, whether indoors or outdoors, impacts disconnect selection. Fourthly, the environmental conditions such as temperature and humidity should be considered. Fifthly, the presence of hazardous materials may necessitate special disconnect types. Sixthly, the potential for water or dust ingress needs to be addressed. Seventhly, the ease of access for maintenance personnel is a critical factor. Eighthly, the frequency of motor operation and maintenance schedules are relevant. Ninthly, the criticality of the damper motor to the overall system operation should be assessed. Tenthly, the long-term reliability and maintainability of the disconnect should be considered. The disconnects which must be rated for the available fault current at its location. This rating, known as the short circuit current rating or SCCR, indicates the maximum fault current the disconnect can safely interrupt. Using a disconnect with an insufficient SCCR can lead to catastrophic failure during a fault, posing a significant safety hazard. To determine the available fault current, conduct a fault current study. This study calculates the maximum fault current that could flow at various points in the electrical system. The fault current study should be performed by a qualified electrical engineer. The disconnect switch's SCCR must be equal to or greater than the available fault current at its location. If the available fault current exceeds the disconnect's SCCR, install current limiting fuses or other protective devices to reduce the fault current to an acceptable level. Proper coordination of overcurrent protective devices is essential for electrical system safety and reliability. Coordination ensures that the overcurrent device closest to the fault will trip first, minimizing the impact on the rest of the system. Conduct a coordination study to determine the appropriate settings for overcurrent protective devices. The coordination study should consider the characteristics of the electrical system, the loads being served, and the available fault current. Overcurrent protective devices should be selected and set to coordinate with each other. This means that the device closest to the fault should have the lowest trip setting and the fastest tripping time. Proper coordination prevents nuisance tripping and ensures that the electrical system can withstand temporary overloads without unnecessary interruptions. Regular testing and maintenance of overcurrent protective devices are essential to ensure they function properly when needed. Overcurrent protective devices should be tested periodically to verify their trip settings and tripping times. Any devices that fail to meet their specification should be replaced immediately. Damper motor control circuits often use low voltage control transformers to step down the voltage from the power circuit. These transformers provide isolation between the power circuit and the control circuit, enhancing safety. The control transformer must be sized appropriately for the control circuit load. The transformer's volt-ampere VAR rating should be sufficient to supply the control circuit's total VA demand. Overcurrent protection should be provided on both the primary and secondary sides of the control transformer. This protects the transformer from overloads and short circuits. The control circuit wiring should be properly sized and installed. The wiring should be rated for the voltage and current of the control circuit. The control circuit should be grounded to provide a path for fault current to flow back to the source. This minimizes the risk of electric shock. Control circuit components, such as relays and switches, should be rated for the voltage and current of the control circuit. Using undersized components can lead to premature failure and pose a safety hazard. Control circuits should be clearly labeled and documented. This helps prevent accidental disconnection of the wrong equipment. Lockout/tagout procedures must be followed when working on or near control circuits. This ensures that the control circuit is de-energized before any work is performed. Regular inspection and maintenance of control circuits are necessary. Control circuits should be inspected regularly for signs of damage or wear. Connections should be tightened as needed. The NEC provides specific requirements for control circuits in Article 725. This article covers the installation and protection of control circuits. Understanding and following the NEC requirements is essential for safe and compliant control circuit installations. In summary, ensuring the safety and proper functioning of damper motors necessitates a thorough understanding of electrical codes, safety procedures, and the specific requirements of the equipment and its environment. Always prioritize safety and consult with qualified professionals when working with electrical systems.